was it on? Oh God, the Fox News contributor. He had it. Bill O'Reilly's like, "Fuck it, we'll do it live."
Right, exactly. What do you think about?
What do I think about the whole thing? I think you have two opposing religious factions that think they are divinely entitled to a piece of land based on a book, their versions of the book, and because this entitlement is divinely inspired, neither one of them will back down.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I thought Noah was talking or something.
Nah, it's me.
Neither one of them are going to back down, and it's not going to stop until the whole area is turned into glass.
Yeah.
Well, today, Biden asked for a pause to remove hostages. You know, that's not how that works.
No.
They're hostages.
Yeah, this is not how war works.
I don't know. I think people are... You've seen that play out many, many times in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. Like, it happens. It seems like, every 10 years, something pops off, basically.
Yeah.
And every time it seems like it just gets worse. It's like... And I think what you've got, really, and what... I was listening to something yesterday that really kind of drove home the point, is that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. They are not the Palestinian people.
Right.
And I would argue that represent them probably very poorly. And I think a lot of Palestinians think that.
Yeah.
I was watching some of Lex Friedman's thing where he was in, it's not in Gaza, it was in the West Bank. But, he was talking to them, and, they have very strong opinions about their leadership.
Yeah.
And so I just don't understand. I think it's a travesty that Hamas speaks for the Palestinian people or supposedly represents them, because I don't think that's indicative of what the actual facts are on the ground and what the actual people think. Do you?
No, I don't think it is. No. Well,
I think there's a portion of them that definitely do. There's obviously a radical sector of Islam, and has been for some time, that has been an ongoing problem.
Well, there is no such thing as a radical Islam. There's just a good Muslim. If you follow the Quran and you follow the Hadith, you will be an extreme, what we would consider an extreme Muslim. And you got to look at it like this too. So there's 3 billion Muslims in the world, and they say 3% of that is radicalized. That's way more than the population of the United States that think that they should throw gay people off buildings and behead you for apostasy.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I watched this thing today on Twitter it was women. They were showing women from like the 1960s and 1950s and even early 1970s from these countries like Iran, some of the other Saudi Arabia, a couple, and I mean, from all indications, it appears like it's a Western country. They're dressed in Western clothing. They're out in the street working in a mini skirt with their hair, and then now you see at 2023 women in Iran, and they're in a burqa, like a full burqa.
Yep, full burqa.
So I don't know how when you look at things like that, like how do you look at that and be like, yeah, this is okay.
Well, a lot of it is the U.S. government's fault, too, because they go in with these proxy wars and these regime change wars, and they create a power vacuum, and that leads to people like ISIS and ISIL and Hamas and
20 years in Afghanistan, and guess what we got? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just insane to me that, I mean, do we actually know, does the Quran... And I know, how you can like say, well, you look in the Bible and there's instances of barbarism and stuff like that. Obviously, yes. And a lot of it motivated by religious belief. But there's not a portion of the core tenets of Christianity, you can tell me if I'm wrong, Jimmy, that call for violence. It does the core tenets of Islam in at least a certain belief system call for violence against non-Muslims?
Spread by the sword. The consequence of apostasy is death. That's a core tenet of Islam. If you leave the religion, death should be your outcome.
I mean, what do you do with that?
I don't know. And there are some of that. There is some of that in the Bible as well, but I guess now it's more of a spiritual death than a literal physical death.
Exactly. But to my knowledge, I mean, I don't know any brand. I mean, other than obviously your radical Christians that believe in going in and shooting up a place just because they're whatever. I mean, obviously you have that, and I see how you can have that in every religion, pretty much.
You can.
Maybe not Hinduism or do we know if Hinduism or Buddhism?
Yeah, Hindus. Yeah,
has
terrorists too. Yeah,
do they?
Absolutely.
Really?
I should bring Jackie on this because she's somewhat of a religious scholar, but all religions have a history of some terrible atrocities, it seems. I don't know of any that do not. Mm-hmm. But I don't know of many that it seems to persist as it does with some Eastern religions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's a major problem.
Well,
it is.
Even going back to what I said earlier, you have two groups that believe they're divinely entitled to this land. That's only a portion of it, though. Really, the conflict is because you have, even though religion is their faith is a aspect of it, there's some other aspects of it too. Like Israel's not 100% innocent in this either.
No, I don't think they are.
They literally have an apartheid state in Israel against the Palestinians. And I mean, I would argue that they are occupying to some degree. I'm not really on either team. I'm not on Team Israel or Team Palestine.
But I mean, from what I can tell, at least the story is, and it's so hard because you hear there's a different... Right. You hear different things from different points of view and different
it really
sides.
Depends on where you get your news from, too.
I know.
It's wild.
And it's like you can tell every time I look at that, I think how big of a propaganda machine is at work here on both sides.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the motivating piece of any modern war.
Right.
Maybe
it's an information.
Maybe all wars. All wars seem to be about money or women eventually. All wars. And that is that base. But I do think that they're... Especially, I believe the Ukrainian-Russian conflict is purely revenue-based.
100%.
100%.
Purely. That is the only motivating factor there. When I was younger, we had a lot of the crisis and the battle over the Gaza Strip and going back to... just so many conflicts in the Middle East, the Iranian missile crisis, the hostages in Libya. This is, like you said, Chase, it seems to be going on and on. But it does escalate as time goes on. Some of that's natural because, of course, their populations increase, technology increases, funding for the extremists increases. And, historically, we've probably funded all sides, I would say, at some point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, as far as the U.S., we are in any conflict outside of our borders strictly for revenue. It's to fuel the military-industrial complex.
I don't know why
100%.
we're even involved. I don't know why we're sending money to the Ukraine.
We sent another $63
believe me, I know.
$63
What are we doing?
billion.
I wish you had the right to opt out of like certain things as a taxpayer. Like if I'm paying taxes, I want receipts where all my specific money goes, and I want to opt out of these things.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just they don't. I have the freedom. No one needs to know why I have my justifications. It doesn't matter. You have the freedom to say what you want to support or not. But I would much rather fund underprivileged Appalachian folks than I would Ukrainian folks.
Yep.
We got a lot more people in need in towns just like ours all across the region.
But Jimmy,
we could benefit from.
They're at war, Jimmy. They're dying, Jimmy. The emotional manipulation is what really pisses me off.
I know. And then you see these like nightclub videos coming out of there where like they're like, it's not like it's a war zone in most areas of that country.
No.
Largely, what's being bombed is just like the middle of the country, and they're just out there like lobbing rockets back and forth from one another.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. And I don't know, that to me, I've pretty much concluded, in my brain at least, that is no more than the United States military basically just shipping all of our old shit to them.
Yeah.
So we can buy new stuff.
Because we haven't had a real significant conflict in a while. So now we got to rearm, You know,
it's so interesting. My generation, and you guys fell up into this up until a while, but we were the first generation that wasn't born in a wartime, because I was born at the end of Vietnam War after the conflict was over. And I always argued that's why the 80s were so great, because there wasn't any war. No, there wasn't. And we had some crises, but everybody was kind of chill up until 91 and Desert Storm, Desert Freedom, and all those things. But it's just interesting that, and you're right, it used to be, I remember the Iran missile crisis specifically, and I was very young, but I remember like everyone was like having conversations. It was a talk of the town. Now these conflicts happen and everybody's like, oh man, did you see this dog on Snapchat? You know what I mean? Right. It's like, it's just everybody's so disconnected from everything, but they get these blurbs of like, there's a war, then people randomly get the right marketing on their phone and they've picked a side based on marketing and no information.
Yeah. And they're lockstep in that side, will not deviate from it. No new information can change their mind.
No, that's what it said. Hey, that's a TikTok video and Hamas is right, you're wrong. Let's go to the streets and protest and rob a Target.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be like
a target is going to help the Palestinians or the Israelis. That's exactly what we need to do.
And that's what we're doing. That's seriously what we do now. Like we get together over, but none of these. I wish somebody, and I've seen a couple of videos where people go to these like pro Hamas, like pro Palestine, like rallies and start talking to people. They're like, I've got a petition here for you to sign, help Hamas free Palestine or whatever. And they're like, oh, hell yeah, we'll sign it or whatever. And he's like, I have to read you the terms and conditions. He's like, first of all, are you okay with eliminating gays and lesbians and trans people off the face of the planet? And they're like, just jaded, like, no, I can't support that. I'm sorry. Like, and it's like, do you even know what you're supporting?
They don't. Not a clue. And that's what I've always wondered about progressives. They've always had the blinders on with Islam. How can you be so accepting and extend your arms out to the most bigoted, hateful religious group on the face of the planet?
Well, we used to be unified in these scenarios. When this happened, it wouldn't be everybody chooses a side. Back in the day, where there was a war, you'd have people holding up signs that just said peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you prayed for peace. You weren't picking a side.
Yeah,
you were picking an end. Right. And now people want to pick hate.
And here's what's the crazy part. This is proof right here that the world is upside down. Is that Donald Trump is the only one that's like, no, I want people to stop dying. Remember, they asked him that.
Right.
And they were like, so you don't support the Ukrainian people? He's like, no, what I support is people not dying anymore.
Most rational comment you can make.
Right.
And now it's Trump thinks death is a bad thing.
Right. I mean, it's
everybody dies. You're going to die one day, and Trump hates you because of it.
Right.
Wait, what?
Like what is going on? Like my intellectual mind cannot handle it. Like it wants to break.
But that's a rational statement. That's where we should all be.
It is absolutely a rational statement.
We do want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
And like at church, our priest, when the calls was for to pray for the innocents that are suffering due to this conflict, and that's the right methodology. We should be. The hippie me comes out, and I'm always like, and I'm not a fan of a lot of hippies too, but I do understand with the choose peace thing, because that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, but peace
not
isn't profitable, man. Peace isn't going to make Halliburton's stock price go up. Come on, Jimmy.
Right.
We got to earn them dividends, bro.
Well, I think that people forget, again, referencing the 80s. There was a lot of money flowing in the 80s.
Yeah.
A lot of money. That might have been the cocaine.
That was exactly what I was going to
say. It was the drugs that were fueling it.
From Miami.
It was drugs, but still, There was no war.
Well, it was just in Miami.
Yeah, you're right. Let me back up.
You know what's so crazy
There
though?
weren't government sponsored. Well, now, okay, let me stop again.
Damn it, Jimmy.
You know what's so crazy though, and I know, you know, I'll freely admit the majority of the people that I hang out around are probably more right leaning people that were probably more. I'll just go out there and say I have a very nuanced opinion on Donald Trump. I liked a lot of his, you know, his policies and things like that. I thought they were needed, but I just wish he would have shut his damn mouth from time to time.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It probably wouldn't have. He probably did, but I'll be honest with you. Like, I felt more optimistic about the country under Donald Trump than I ever have under Joe Biden.
Well, any kind of populist man that ran Donald Trump, Andrew Yang, who else? Kennedy, any kind of populist, they immediately throw them under the bus. Immediately.
Sure.
Tulsi Gabbard. Anyone who isn't going to play ball, they throw them under the bus.
I mean, it's becoming so obvious.
It is. It is extremely obvious.
I mean, you'd have to be willfully ignorant to at least not acknowledge that it's very odd. And I think what you see, you know, following online and a lot of the, you know, more popular voices in today, you know, you see a coalescing of not so much right and left, but just like thinking people that are finally being like, this, we're being played, and why are we and me and you arguing with one another?
Yep.
Like, I was even listening to Piers Morgan and what's that guy from the Young Turks?
Oh, Cenk Uygur.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he drives me absolutely crazy
Me
because
too.
he's so over emotionally played and all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, and Piers
they're
Morgan
coming
has
around.
Yeah. Even they are coming around.
Yeah.
And it was a constructive, like,
I find myself
talk.
agreeing with Anna Kasparian, and I'm like, what is going on?
I know.
Well, I'm in the
What is
same boat because
happening?
when I start like thinking, God, Russell Brand is like really making a lot of sense. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
In what world do we get the most accurate and unbiased information that we can from Russell Brand?
From Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, and a bunch of comedians.
Yeah,
That's really what it is.
you know what
boiled
though?
down to.
Comedians though have historically always told the truth.
Sure, because the truth is way more funny than making
It
something
is.
up.
Man, if you go back and watch some of old Richard Pryor, even old Bill Cosby, even though he's canceled, he was hilarious. Or those guys back in the day, they were hilarious. I mean, but they would always get this like serious moment in their conversation that would call stuff out. So it's not quite. It's just surprising specifically that it's Russell Brand. But
Well, you know, they came for comedy. The cancellation crowd came for comedy, and comedy fought back
and won.
and won in a huge way. I mean, and honestly, it promoted them to the front of the line.
Right.
I mean, that's the front line of culture now.
Yeah,
It is a bunch of comedians.
Yeah, because they're not afraid to speak out and be like, say whatever it is that is the unpopular opinion.
Right. And you see, you know, YouTube tried to fight back against this, I think, too. Like, they tried to censor a lot of this stuff or whatever. But even there now, like, I see things all the time. I'm like, I can't believe YouTube let that fly.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
Me too.
And thank God for Spotify and Joe Rogan.
and Bill Burr.
Yeah. Bill
I
Burr.
love Bill Burr.
I do, too.
I love that man.
But I mean,
He's so funny.
He's a monster drummer, by the
Dude,
way.
he is so good.
Monster drummer.
Have
Helicopter
you seen,
pilot,
No, we
too.
were talking about the Middle East and how I guess unprogressive, how regressive some of the aspects of that area is. I will say this: Andrew Schultz. I know y'all are familiar with the comedian Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
He did a tour in the United Arab Emirates, and it's pretty great. And I gotta say, like, I was shocked. I mean, if you've watched any of his stand-up, you know he's not appropriate, and he did not hold back, and he's still alive.
Well, that's the dirty little secret, is all of these Muslim countries. I learned this from living abroad. Even in Australia, which is a first world country.
Yeah.
Like first world English speaking.
Now, he was in Dubai.
Yeah.
So,
But
he
yeah.
wasn't in Iraq.
But I mean, American culture defines culture in Australia.
A lot of
it's
it,
not
yeah.
like they have their own. I mean, they do in some separate way, almost in the sense as like the UK has their own separate thing. But largely, American culture defines everything still over there.
Yeah.
And then but you get that all the way around the world. It's like what always was crazy to me was when they go do like WWE in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh or what in the capital. They love it. Like they come unglued for this type of stuff, and they don't hold back. Like the women don't have to dress down or anything like that. And so you look at stuff like that, and you're like, how? Like they want to be West. I mean, Iran has been that way for a long time too. Iran was a very modern, very Western style country at one point, and now it's just a Islamic, theocracy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's Sharia law is the rule of the land.
And you think the people want that? They don't want that.
I don't know. I can't say. I say a certain percentage of them probably do.
I'd say there probably are some, but I think the vast majority don't.
I wouldn't.
Well, it's not freedom. That's not freedom.
No.
And I think if you believe in the ideal of freedom, you have to believe that it's a
freedom in Islam is diametrically opposed. Islam, the actual word means submission.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. Because Islam came out holding Jacob's foot, right?
I don't know.
Was it Jacob?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
where
that statement.
I think it was. I think it was Jacob. He came out when the story goes when they were born that he was holding Jacob's foot, and so
When
that's
Muhammad
the reason.
was born?
Yeah, no, not when Muhammad was born. Ishmael is the where Islam gets its original.
Okay.
It's one of the Abrahamic religions. So, what little I know about it, I'm definitely not an Islamic scholar, but nor am I a Christian scholar or Judaism scholar.
Judy Chop.
Judy Chop.
He's making a comeback. He's on TikTok now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Diamond Dave.
The old
It's a Diamond Dave's a ninja teaching.
Ninja teacher.
That's old school internet right there.
He's got a TikTok account now. It's
ever seen
great.
that?
I've not.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
my
not.
God.
It was a guy. He was on like Jerry Springer and stuff back in the day, but it's this like redneck guy from like West Virginia, and he makes like a homemade like video about.
I'm a little familiar. I think I remember that now that you say that.
His nunchucks and his ninja star.
I do remember that now.
Regular can of backer? No, says I. He's walking around the trailer park. Ninja Star.
Yeah, I remember that. Have you seen that lady singing the "I Want to Be Ninja"?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she's like a former Miss Washington or Oregon beauty pageant or something. I can't remember what. But
It's so funny.
well, it's funny. She was at a party singing. Like there's this like Asian woman right there. She's in her face singing. I want to be in that woman's like trying to smile. And she's totally offended. And this lady doesn't back down. She's like, I too can be ninja. It's hilarious. It is funny though. It's freaking funny.
Bring back comedy, man. Sometimes stupid
I
shit is
want
fun.
to be ninja.
It is. It's okay to be stupid and to laugh at immature things. It's totally fine
Yeah.
to do
It
that.
used to be a rite of passage. Like
Right.
your friends weren't your friends unless you could all give each other crap and take it.
Life is
Gives
way
you
more
backbone.
fun when you're not like just pissed off on edge all the time.
I saw the your
Oh yeah.
about you're like your guy. I don't know what's funnier, you guys pearl clutching or the picture itself. Did you see that?
He told me about it. I was looking at the
They were
attorney
losing
John
their
Peterson one.
collective minds over. Now, here's the thing, and I want to address this right here and right now. Everybody who dogpiled on me over that, if you yourself have not went up and written on someone's car and their back glass in the dirt, whether it's a friend's or whoever, may he cast the first stone. Because that's something every single one of us in our lifetimes have done.
I know.
And I'm sorry, that was funny.
No.
That was
I
funny.
kind of wanted to comment on what Jimmy said, or one of you said. your friends, they're not your friends unless you give them crap. That's how my friend circle operates.
Yeah.
We dish each other all the time, and we're best of friends.
That's
still.
part of it. You keep each other humble that way, right? You know, you grow from that, and it also actually prepares you for this thing called reality when you grow up in the world, because the world doesn't take your feelings into consideration, regardless. Employers don't, insurance companies don't, bills don't. So,
Did you see my other comment on it?
No, I didn't see the second.
I'll tell you after the podcast.
I don't know, man.
blame it on
I
somebody.
turned it on. I turned it on, and
I think
oh
it's
yeah,
gone
you
now.
did.
I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
did.
gone now. I think the whole thread's been deleted, but that was gold.
Yeah, it was good.
The whole
that was really good.
The whole thread was great.
But no,
man.
I turned it on. I was like, oh man, here Josh is dipping his toe in the waters right here. Look at him go.
They just caught me in a mood that night. I was like, really, y'all? Like, come on. And everyone was,
Right.
they were literally acting like that was the most egregious, awful thing that they had seen happen to this town.
Dude, did you see my comment?
No,
I
I didn't.
I said I could have definitely drawn a better dong than that. I could have definitely drawn a better dong.
Oh, and everyone was like,
We used to draw dongs on everything back in the day, and that's why I said, I was like, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't.
dude, I know.
when we first moved into Swiss Pine Lake, it was Mitchell High School football related, but there was gold penises painted on every Swiss Pine Lake sign, like in the road. Like it was like a 20-foot
Right.
visual representation.
Right.
And it was fairly detailed. And I will tell you, Jackie and I laughed all the way home because is it vandalism? Yeah, but is it funny? Yeah,
Right.
it is.
It is
right?
funny.
And it was because at that time, I think Mountain Heritage coach lived in Swiss Pine Lake,
Right.
and they beat Mitchell, so somebody retaliated. And the folks were up in arms about it, like, how can we stand this heinous vandalism? And I was like, well, I mean, they should definitely have to clean it up, but it's still funny.
Yeah, it's
So,
funny. It's funny.
Man,
it was
it's just
hilarious.
The overreaction is what gets me. It's like,
Come on, guys.
come on.
Well, and you don't have to. Yeah, I saw that too.
Put it on Jimmy so he can.
Hold on a minute. Let me get it up here. This was the other.
That's amazing. That's great.
I mean, it's just asking for it, though.
Well, it's been there a while.
Been there forever. And I'm surprised
like-
nobody thought of it before now. I don't know, man. Everybody's got to learn to laugh a little bit, and I understand. I mean, I don't necessarily want my kids being like, "Mom, Dad, what's this thing or whatever, and what does cum mean or whatever." But like at the same time, like
You know what you do?
I saw somebody said they were like, I think this is one of these moments where you got to think on the fly as a
do.
parent. You know,
You
you
do.
just got to be like, don't worry about it. It's just a bunch of people.
When
making
you
things.
just
Let's
look at
move
him
on.
and say, "Get in the car," and then it's gone. Poof, on to the next thought.
Right. I know.
It's nothing.
I
It's
know.
nothing.
I agree. I think we should all learn to just take jokes and laugh a little harder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Draw better dongs next time.
What a miserable
Do
life.
better.
Do better.
People,
Do better.
people keep
Expect
saying
more.
do better, and I
Do
was like,
better.
do a better dong.
Do better dogs.
That was pathetic, dude. I could have done
Or-
so much better.
Yeah, and do better coming on cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
I mean, well, we used to do crazy stuff all the time. I mean,
Dude, everybody in the world has done stupid
Right.
things like that.
boy, they're coming for whoever wrote the 3 C words on the sign, though. And I mean, that's just straight out. I mean, you gotta know what you're getting into. You
Yeah,
gotta know
that
where
was-
you're at on that one. You can't be drawing on people's election signs. That's a crime, a federally
That
punishable
is a
crime.
federal- yeah,
It is.
It is. I have thoughts on that too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very likely what I would call a false flag.
I thought the same thing, but we'll see.
We'll see.
That's for the Spruce Pine Police Department
It
to
is.
figure out.
That's just my opinion. That's based on absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I'm an armchair.
I would be lying to you if I said I didn't consider that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be so relieved next Friday because for a period of time, we'll have to hear everybody, regardless of what the results are. It's going to be anger and hate for an entire weekend. But after that, it'll calm down for a good 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Then it'll start hating on whoever's in whatever seat.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who it is.
I know.
Not anymore. Because now that's been uncorked, it's just going to be no one is going to win because of the escalation.
I know.
You know what my big takeaway from the candidates forum was the other night?
What's that?
People have no idea what the role of government is. The general public does not have any clue what the role of government
No,
is.
and I was very impressed with Wayne that he pointed that out.
Yeah, he did.
Several times. And not in a very upfront way, but he was like, I'm all on board with, like, you guys, if I would like to see an entrepreneurial, what was he saying? Like an entrepreneurial club or
think
a
tank.
think tank
Entrepreneurial
come up.
think
You
tank.
present the ideas and we'll support them.
Yeah.
Which
But they
is exactly what needs to happen.
it's almost like the general public wants to present the idea and then the government make it happen.
I know.
And that's not how any of this works.
No.
I mean, you have to have the capital, you have to have the financial backing to do it. And it has to be done in the private sector.
Well, that's my takeaway on this whole thing, and I've said this from the beginning, is we can make anything trust me, I build houses for a living. I build things for a living. You can make anything. We can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me what you want done. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
As long as you got the money for it.
Right.
And largely, I think we struggle with funding.
We do.
Because, like it or not, a lot of our funding comes from the state level, which it's distributed. And it certainly helps having people like Ralph and Laurie and Raleigh that are, influential people that can get things done. But even, I'll be 100% honest with you, sometimes even that seems a little cringy to me. It's like, oh, yeah, go down there and bring home the bacon, Ralph. Like, don't do what's good for,
I know.
when you're doing what's good for everybody, just make sure we get a little extra in there. Which to me doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I mean, that's questionable. Could be. Fair is fair, right?
Right.
It's not, but it's got to be unbiased in that role. It can't be, you want a champion for your hometown. Everybody wants somebody that doesn't forget about us, but you can't ask for preferential treatment.
No.
You just can't. I mean, doesn't mean it's convenient or it's the outcome that we all wish for, but it's the reality of how things are supposed to be, right? And we got a lot of problems here, but so do a lot of other counties and small towns in this state. Some far worse than us.
Than we do.
Way worse.
I was glad to see I saw in Canton, where the paper mill closed. I know that was a big thing for a while. I saw where they were doing like a ice rink during the winter to help promote tourism, and I thought, how great would that be for Spruce Pine too, to do something like that? I'm glad it's happening for Canton, and I wish the best for those people. I like it out there, and that's tough.
I do too.
Place.
It's actually a cool little place out there.
It really is cool. But I think about that, and like, what happened when Henry Don and what was it, Lexington and Ethan Allen, all three of them.
Yep.
What happened when we didn't get an ice skating rink here to help promote tourism?
Man, I never missed the hockey place so much while I was at that Pittsburgh Penguins game, and God, it was so fun.
Yep.
And I remembered watching the Pine Bridge Bucks, and conveniently the colors were the same, right, from Pittsburgh and here. And it does weird thing. Your memory starts replaying things, and obviously I had memories of Pine Bridge Coliseum being this giant arena like I was sitting in. But the point is, I really miss that, and I know it's never going to happen here. I know it's not sustainable. I know all those things, but it doesn't mean that like for a moment we didn't have something that no one had. Smallest in the world to have a professional hockey team. Smallest town in the world. Yep. And I was glad to grow up in that time and have that. But we just got to find other things that we've got. And tourism's not the sole answer, but it definitely has to be a strong component of what we're doing. Because tourist towns become ghost town in the sky. Also, Maggie Valley was awesome.
And even Pine Bridge, I think, and I don't know this for sure, but from kind of what I have heard over the years and told, I grew up around that place and all that. I asked a question. I was like, how is it that we were able to have professional hockey? And I think what it was, and this is just my just my take on it. I don't have any really necessarily anything to back this up other than just kind of things I've gathered over the years. I think that whole thing was really just because Robert Bailey was making so much money at Buck Stove that he had to spend money in order to not get
taxed,
decimated in taxes.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was what allowed that to happen. He had to spend money, and thank God that what of a cool idea. I would love that. We have to get Robert on here.
Yeah, we do.
But, you know, he's getting older and definitely not getting any younger, but I'd love to sit down and ask him how, why, like where was the genesis of this? We're going to have hockey in Spruce Pine, you know?
Love it. I absolutely loved it. But, you know, I didn't, well, I would say I tried to skate. I didn't try to play to support it or anything because I was terribly unathletic in that regards. But, you know, it was neat.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great fun. But you know what, though? Even when we had all that, everybody still complained there was nothing to do here.
I know.
Yeah.
I was always like, dude, we've got a over Olympic sized hockey rink and giant arena in the middle of a tiny
like a
little town.
city at that time, a metropolitan class fitness center, basketball goals, all indoor rock climbing wall. I mean, like all this stuff here. There's nothing to do, man.
I know.
Well, that's the thing. If you live in a place long enough, it doesn't matter if you live in Austin, Texas.
You're downtown New York City. There's nothing to do.
You're going to get bored of where you live because you do the things and they're cool and you do them for a while and then you're like, oh, that's it.
Yep.
I got an idea to run past you guys. This is something someone asked me about that they are thinking about opening, and they wanted some feedback.
Yeah, it's just started being really choppy. I saw that. It's actually froze on Jimmy right now.
Oh, no.
Okay. No.
It was going great for a while.
Oh, we're back in the green now.
We back?
Oh, we're back. And we're back. Sorry for that interruption.
It's back to normal.
Start talking about gaming, the world goes across. It falls apart. So, in like unlimited video games, Monday through Thursday kind of team theme, and then have 2 escape rooms that are changed every 60 or 90 days.
Right.
And then the weekends, it's a DJ, live band, and just a video game room. Somebody asked me about that concept. Do you think it would fly here?
Booze or no booze?
Booze on the weekends.
Booze on the weekends.
Right.
Thursday,
Clean,
Friday, Saturday.
teen through the week.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's a great idea.
And then on like Saturdays up until a time, like let's say it's noon to 6 p.m. or whatever, it's booze free because it's for birthday parties, whatever events like that.
Sure.
But a multi-function kind of facility if you want.
I think that'd be awesome.
And then Sundays, no alcohol, so you could have birthday parties or whatever.
As long as you can keep the kids from coming on cars, I think it'd be fun.
You will not let that go the day you die.
I guarantee you somebody will draw a dong in that place sooner or later.
You're going to start something.
So if there was, let me ask you this, Noah. So if like Monday through Thursday, there was widely massive bandwidth internet, you had all the technology there, whether it was PCs, Xboxes, PlayStations.
There's this thing people used to do in like, I want to say 2009, 2010, where they'd have like gaming basements where it's a bunch of computer setups, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get down with that.
Okay.
I know that
Like LAN
barcade
parties.
in Asheville does very well, and then at the bar they have you can set up at the bar, and there's different stations, and they have PlayStation. I think it's like 3 PlayStations, 3 Xboxes, or whatever. You can play together with other people sitting with you. So people really like that, but they keep them. They keep the controllers behind. If you want to play, you have to ask for them and then give them back. It's not just a free for all. But
my understanding, there's an ordinance against pool tables in downtown, but I've not heard anything against axe throwing or video game machines.
You're
Escape rooms.
100% correct. So why is there an ordinance against pool tables?
Upper Street Tavern, I think.
I think that's what it was
There was
too.
a bunch of fighting and a bunch of craziness down there.
And that was pool tables that caused that?
I don't think it was pool tables. I think it was just people go down there and play all night.
It was the easiest. It was the easiest thing to remove than targeting maybe people or behaviors that the easiest thing you do is remove an opportunity.
I feel like we should have targeted the individuals.
Yeah, right.
Not punished an entire town.
Yeah.
And or a business.
I feel like that could
off
easily
tables.
be changed, though. I feel like if you really made a push to like, hey, look, I'm going to put a billiard hall down here. We're going to do it right, do it professional, you know.
I mean, bar fights are going to happen. That's just
it's just
unfortunate byproduct of owning a bar.
But you know what I would love to see?
Hotel fights happen too.
They do. I mean, fights happen in high schools and
everywhere.
Yeah.
Malls.
You know what was so impressive, though, about I've talked about it a million times, but down there where Laura lived in Waxhaw, that little town, you know what was so impressive about them is the cops came into the bars. Mm-hmm. I mean, at night, went back, you know, after food stopped being served and everything. And they were friendly to everybody. It wasn't like they were there to judge everybody and watch everybody with the fight. But
that's the relationship you want if you are a on the up and up bar owner.
Yeah,
that is the relationship you want.
100%.
Yeah,
because it's a deterrent.
And the other thing that I'd like to see is I know I saw where somebody was starting to do Uber around here. I think they'd figured it out like you did. You got to register in Asheville and then you can drive here.
Yep.
I actually pulled it up the other night, and sure enough, within 5 minutes from going from Moondust to my house, I just pulled it up just to see. We already had a ride.
For real?
Yeah, pulled it up. Dead serious.
Yeah.
But I saw now that I did see on Facebook, he made 2 or 3 Facebook posts on some of them bigger groups being like, hey, I'm driving Uber tonight. Let me know. You know. So, I mean, that right there I think would be good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. People that are watching, if you want to Uber in this town, Uber does not offer services in Spruce Pine. What you have to do is you have to register as a driver and set your city to Asheville, North Carolina. If you do that, then you can turn the app on and drive in Spruce Pine. That would be fantastic, and it's a good way to make a little extra money. Do it.
You could even do Burnsville and Spruce Pine,
you
probably.
Can. Yeah, you can.
You know, as long as you're willing to go back and forth, you know.
Yep, you can.
But I mean, think about you know, especially in Burnsville, you've got Home Place, you've got there's quite a few places to drink what's that, Birdfoot or whatever that place is down there now, you know. And then in Spruce Pine, you've got everywhere from Hef's to Gastropub to the dispensary, and then of course Moondust.
Yep.
So, but I was happy to see that. I think that would be, you know.
What? I'm looking at it right now. Wow. Okay. It's a longer wait, it says. Mm-hmm. But it does exist. So probably, and I know how that works. Like, there have been many times when I have to, like, it's after hours. I got an early flight out, and you got to literally get somebody out of bed, wait for them to get ready, and in certain areas. That's a real thing. Yeah, it's $9 from here to $6.70 on Oak. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Huh. Never seen that before.
So
That's
there's no
awesome.
excuse, now. I mean, now that if a couple people start driving Uber, I think that'd make everybody feel better. I think it'd make the cops feel better.
Oh my gosh.
And they wouldn't have to. And I get it. I mean, you don't want people leaving sloshed and driving and being
There's
dangerous.
no excuse for driving drunk. No.
Yeah, I know.
There's none.
Do you know what, though? Since they put alcohol in Spruce Pine, the driving drunk incidents have almost completely disappeared. It's rare.
Well, now I got one, Jimmy.
Well, yeah. Like I said, almost. Right. I said
I'll
almost.
Just be honest with you.
Almost.
Right. But biggest mistake I've ever made, honestly. Yeah. And I thought I was fine. I mean, it wasn't like I was like, Well,
here's the thing.
I literally thought I was fine.
Sure.
Alcohol affects everybody different, and I understand.
And at different times.
It does, and I understand that there has to be some kind of like black and white limit. There has to be some kind of number. Say, okay, well, anything over this. But I know people who would blow double or triple the legal limit and still not be slosh drunk.
I know. Yeah, it's true. I'm a big old boy, but I mean, I thought back on that day. I'm like, I think it was Ethan had come over to the house. I had like 3. With Ethan, but that was over a course of like 2 hours. Me and him sit there with his kid. We watched a movie, I think, something like that. Then I went down to the bar. Wasn't there for long. I think I had 1 drink at the bar, and I was tired. We were like, I was like, I'm going home. I don't feel like doing this or whatever. And I pulled out. The lights on my mom and dad's car were automatic. I pulled out into the street, and the lights weren't on yet because I was parked right under a street light.
Right.
And that's how they popped me. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't blame them. I was fine. I mean, hey. You know what I mean?
Gotta do your gig.
My mistake, man. It's my mistake, but I learned my lesson, and I ain't done it since.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even. I won't drive if I'm drinking at all.
Breaking news: House passes $14 billion in Israel aid.
I don't know. We always are funding something and doing something. I mean,
With costly cuts to IRS.
here's the thing: how much of the aid going to Ukraine is not military, like humanitarian aid?
And we never see a line item breakdown of where each one of those dollars is used. How much actually makes it there?
So, do you remember when they, I don't know if they FOIA'd those. I don't know if they could be FOIA'd, but they were requested, and I don't know if it was an audit or what. Maybe it was the Fed. Something happened, but yeah, there was a lot of no explanation of where the money went.
I'm sure.
That was a big stink for about 8 seconds, and then it was poof gone.
That's always what's so hard with me with any, like, we have so many nonprofits in this region.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would love to see the audits of how much of those actually go towards their cause and how much are just paying employee salaries.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked. Some of them, it's pretty bad.
I would tell you, like, then you have no benefit. You could argue it's job creation, maybe, but if you're paying more in salaries than you're giving to whatever cause that you're working towards, then it should be a non-viable business to move on.
Well, I don't know. So maybe the cause is the service provided by your employees.
Like I said, if that is job creation's it, then sure. That could be it.
I guess you could argue that, with like animal shelters and stuff, a large part of that is staffing them and having somebody there to take care of the animals.
That is very fair. So then I'll rephrase my statement then. If you can't justify the cause or the need, because it's hard to... Animal care, for instance, is very costly.
Mm-hmm, extremely.
And there's a lot of overhead. And the benefit is we all feel better. Right. That's literally the benefit of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So... the cost there, that's a net loss out the gate.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I will say there are some nonprofits that exist that have zero function other than to fund lifestyles.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of professional athletes do that.
Yeah.
How what's the ratio? I think is it like 75% or 25% has to go back into the nonprofit?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I think it's 25%. The rest of it can go to whatever.
Various expenditures.
Yeah, including salaries. I mean, what's the CEO salary of the American Red Cross? I bet it would blow your mind.
I think the American Red Cross is like the reason they're so popular is because I think they're one of the few
just like
that
the
like
one I pulled out of my ass.
Legit.
I think the Red Cross is like the one they're like, hey, if you want to donate to some and know that your money's actually going to something, donate to the Red Cross. But there's a million other ones that are just like,
oh yeah,
nah.
Well, I mean, it's not hard to file for a 501.
The CEO of American Red Cross makes between $70,000 to $85,000 a year.
See, that's a reasonable salary.
That's like that's a
very
donation.
reasonable salary.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I think that's the reason they say that. Hey, the Red Cross is the one to give to.
And see, I have no idea. Yeah. I just pulled them out of my ass.
There was some other ones. There was a couple of veterans organizations that I know got popped for.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it was Wounded Warriors or any of those, but there was a couple other ones that were fairly popular, like big organizations that just weren't. They were just lining people's pockets,
All right, there's conflicting reports here. The CEO, it says Cliff Holtz, chief operating officer. The chief operating officer made $781,000.
COO.
The president of Biomedical Services made $751,000. The chief transformation officer made $723,000.
Still, in comparison to,
I would argue though, when
corporate
you get
America, that's
biomedical services. Some of those roles, I think you'd have to pay someone to get them to do a role with the liability of that position.
Well, here's the thing too. Like you look at corporate America, most of your CEOs' base salaries is around that, like $300,000 to $500,000.
Oh, sure.
It's the bonuses. They get. That's where the big compensation.
Most $100 million a year corporation CEO makes between $500,000 to $800,000. And then their equity might push them over the $1 million mark annually.
Yeah.
And then if they leave, their severance might be 3 years of that up front.
Right.
That's the way a lot of religious organizations do. Churches. That's the reason parsonages were so big back in the day. That you could fund like a housing allowance through like a parsonage or whatnot, and
we lived in one.
do it. It's not as I don't think it's as tax advantageous now as it used to be, but yeah. So wild. I don't know. I always wondered where you're giving money. You're like, I feel you though. Every time I give to something like that, I'm always like, God dang it! I hope, just like giving to a person on the street, I hope like my money is going to something. But I mean,
it is probably to heroin. Just realistic Josh over here.
Yeah, probably. At least he had a good time on it.
Yeah.
I used to.
At least he's not sick.
Down there in Swannanoa, and I lived in Swannanoa, down there at the Shell station, there was always one guy hanging out there, and I started ragging him one day. He's like, you got some spare change for some food? I'm like, dude, I know you're going. I've seen you a million times going here and buy tall boys. I said, why don't I just buy you a tall boy? You want a tall boy? He's like,
that'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. So I just started buying him tall boys. It's like, I mean,
don't lie to me.
Yeah. At least I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, come on. But I don't know. It's just, you never know,
I wonder what the average takeaway from someone who panhandles like that is, like what they take home. I guess it would vary from, city to city.
Yeah.
Or
Now, it
place
depends
to
on how
place.
active your intersection is.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Hell, they
I
probably
do
make more money than I do.
I have been told for a fact that from people in the know that there are some panhandlers around here that you see doing things. I'm not going to say which ones, but that it's completely like just a ruse. That's all it is.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. There's I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where folks like, hey, I'm going to just see how much money I can shake down in a day.
Right.
When I was in college in '91, I'm not even ashamed of it. I had this theory is like, okay, there's 14,000 people on campus. If I ask everybody I see if they've got $1 I can have, that's $1,400 a day.
Right.
And you're a college kid. You get creative if you want to eat. So I started walking around, and I could easily, on any given day, give $50.
Oh, yeah.
Now, 91, $50 is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's actual money.
Yeah, it was. It's like, that's gas for a week and groceries for a week. So, but I get it.
Me and a couple of my buddies used to go busking downtown in Asheville.
Did you really?
Yeah, back before you had to have the permit.
Right.
We used to go busking down there playing. I'd play a little snare drum. We'd play like folk. I had a guy that played fiddle, and all right, we made.
Dude.
I mean, definitely enough to. We'd do it on like Thursdays, and then we'd use that as like drinking and going out money for the weekend.
Back next
we didn't have no money.
Next to Stella Blue /31 Patton there, back towards the hippie drum circle park. There was a guy who had a blue set of Gresh drums. I mean, a full set who would sit out there and play. He was freaking incredible.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He
I
was
remember
awesome.
that guy.
And I was just like, you're not just like set up a bucket. You got like a $8,000 vintage Gresh drum set out here wearing it out. He made, I think that was his living actually.
Yeah.
Like
Probably.
professional drummer.
And he set up in that little atrium.
Yeah,
there.
he
and
did.
it echoed
Oh,
between
dude,
the
you could hear
buildings.
it everywhere because there's that parking lot right across from him with the buildings on the side. Is just like natural. You could hear him all the way down to the orange peel.
Yeah.
That was a good spot. And then the other spot where we always used to want is where the anvil, or not the flat iron was over there. Right where Old Europe and Early Girl Eatery on that little, what's that little cobblestone street
That
called?
side street back in there.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's where you always wanted. That was always a good spot. We used to go there. And then down there in front of the Civic Center, not far from the Civic Center, we used to go down there.
Remember when Asheville was cool?
My favorite character from Asheville was the nun that rode the giant bicycle.
Yeah, the Lezoom nun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a whole company out of that.
Really?
Yes, they did. That's where those Lezoom bus tours.
Yeah.
They still have the nun that goes around on the giant bicycle.
Yep.
But that was like a ruse.
Hilarious.
That was like they started doing that and people ate it up, and then they created a whole bus tour after it.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
He's on a, it's a he.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But he is on the side of the Lezoom bus thing is in the old building Nashville where I used to work. And now they have a mural of him on the side of the building, the nun riding the bike. It's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, and they do so many memes about him. It's like, meanwhile in Asheville, North Carolina, and there he is.
exactly.
But I think that's where it was kind of got internet popular too.
Yeah.
I think, and
Yeah.
that's where they
We
sort of
need to
started.
start that in Spruce Pine.
We do.
So
Not a nun though. We got to come up with something more creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still say we need to set up the camera at the bridge down there, the one that gets hit all the time. I passed there going to the Halloween thing.
Somebody started a Facebook page on it.
I did see that, but we need a camera.
We
That's
do.
what we need.
I'll put one up there and just leave it.
I was scoping it out. I was scoping it out like when we went down to the Halloween. Which, speaking of that, we need to talk about Halloween. That was a great
freaking
event.
awesome. Gina
Yeah.
rock starred
Yep.
it, man.
Yeah, she
I heard the
killed
haunted
it.
house in Beulah was like something incredible.
It
like
was
next level.
legit, bro. Legit.
I heard it was next level.
Yeah, and they were probably. We waited in line for 2 hours.
For real.
I mean, so I told Gina, I'm like, listen, it was worth the wait.
The only time in history people waited 2 hours to go to school in Beulah.
Right, exactly. It was great, but I told her, she was like, yeah, that's a problem. We're going to have to fix that for next year. It just takes too long. I got to speed it up.
Well, they're going to have to sell. What they need to do is book times online, sell it ahead of time, and then have times for people to go through.
Yeah.
And then you take your chances if you're
going
wait.
down there
That's
to
right.
wait in line. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. That would probably alleviate. But I mean, good God, there was. It wasn't just like we were. It was 4 minutes in between groups going. That's what we timed it as.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we got up closer to the front, me and the guy behind me, we were so bored. We were like, all right, let's see how long it takes and how much longer it's going to be. And it was literally about 4 or 5 minutes in between groups.
Right.
So, I mean, that should tell you something. They took 10 people at a time. So, I mean, do the math. How many people went through before me? Would that be in an hour?
So they gotta figure out how to make that either a continuous stream,
Yeah.
or they're going to have to break it into 2 sections so you can have people alternating. Right.
Yeah.
That's
That was the
interesting,
thing.
though.
They had to pretty much you had to go
reset.
through about 3/4 of it before they could reset it.
Gotcha.
And it was the other ones were coming in right as the people were going out the back. I think otherwise you could have heard them. There you go. Let's go.
Okay.
I guess that kind of transitions into a story. I think it was a few weekends ago. I went to Lake Hickory Haunts.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
the first haunted attraction I've ever been to.
I've never been down there. Is it good?
Oh, it's fantastic. It was a really, really fun trip.
So what's it like? I mean, is it like a hayride or what is it?
No, it's like a haunted. It's like okay. So there's different portions. There's different portions of it, and you walk through those different portions, and the actors will jump out at you. They'll hit stuff. It's like it's not really a maze, but it's like a. I don't know what word I'm.
Like a
looking for.
trail?
Yeah,
I got you.
it was.
Was it indoors or outdoors?
both?
I've always heard it's amazing, but I've never been. I need to go.
It is definitely.
I forgot I brought snacks because they got to help.
It is worth.
Not a sponsor, but still awesome. Sorry, you.
Yeah, dude. Pub mix.
I don't know how much the tickets are, but I've heard it's not too bad. I would definitely go. Take your kids too.
Yep.
It's great.
Did you ever go to the one in Gatlinburg down by the river, the haunted house right next to the river in Gatlinburg?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my
When
God.
I was young. Yeah.
That was great. Ripley's was good. Terrified my poor son. They're literally, that's how I kept him in trouble. I was like, look, I'm gonna take you back to the haunted house. He's like,
No, you're not. That's great.
But I mean, it was legit scary down there. I mean, it was
Really?
Yeah, they had a lot of I think a lot of people in the drama department at Mitchell helped.
That's awesome.
But the coolest scene, and I see what she was trying to do. She was trying to tell the story of so it was like she wanted, and kudos to Gina, she wanted everything related back to like Mitchell County to like
Gotcha.
a story, So of course Frankie and Charlie were in there.
Oh, right.
And like they're chopping up body parts
Oh,
or
that's
whatever,
great.
and it's like, Frankie, tell that baby to shut up. They're like, wow, and the lights would go. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was but it was done by, I think it was North Carolina School, the University of North Carolina School of the Arts.
I heard that.
So I mean, it was a full-on production. I started when
Wow.
I was waiting in line. I'd get out and I went back to go to the porta johns they had behind, and I just started looking. And it looked like they had all their technical stuff set up in the room. I got to peeking in there, buddy. Now I mean, it was a real deal. They
Gotcha.
had cameras. They had people. It was all on triggers and everything
Wow.
else. Yeah, it was really well done. The production value was incredibly high.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. I love that. We just went downtown. Sorry we didn't come by. We didn't go into English Woods.
I was all good.
How would the English Woods ghost stories turn out? That looked awesome. The photos I saw.
It was great. It was great. There's a huge turnout, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything I went to at the Halloween thing had a huge
packed.
turnout. Packed, yeah. And I mean, the whole front lawn of the English Inn there was set up, and Will
Looked
and
awesome.
I think her name's Amber. Is that right? They did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And she was a fill-in. That they were supposed to have somebody, an older lady that was like kind of like a matriarch of folk music sort of, that was supposed to be there with Will, and she died on Tuesday.
Oh, my word.
She didn't die. I mean, she's alive, but she died temporarily, and then
Wow.
came back.
Dude.
So
She did not want to go to the English Inn.
Wow.
Will told me, I saw
Bless
Will
her
on
heart.
Thursday at the Bakersfield Street Fight. I took Harper over there to do one of the mask making things. And he said that at that point she was still planning on coming, even though she had died
Oh, my
earlier in
gosh,
the week.
that's hardcore.
Wow.
But I guess she just didn't make it, which I absolutely don't blame her. But regardless, they did an incredible job. They really did. It was really cool.
I think that's the most metal thing ever. You died temporarily and you're still worried about
That's
going
right.
to your plans.
Yeah.
And you had just died.
That is pretty hardcore.
They talked a little bit about it, Will and them did at the actual event, and they were like, she was fully planning on being here, but you gotta be realistic about where you're at.
Moondust was packed that Saturday night, too.
Ooh, boy, that was a party, wasn't it? That was a party.
Rewind was awesome. That was right after the Dale McCurry thing went on downtown.
I texted Jimmy. I was like, Jimmy, you got to get down here. You're missing all your favorite songs from Dale McCurry.
Yeah, I'll be right there, I said. I'm on my way, getting ready.
Oh, I wish I didn't have to work that weekend.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Does.
Is it getting any better?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I got to hire some more people.
They got to hire more people. Yeah, we're so short-staffed. It's not even funny.
Welcome to the entire world.
Dude, for real. It is awful. We are so short-staffed. We need 3 chemists per shift. We have 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Really?
And they're even hiring people and training them now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're hiring just lab techs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to have a degree. And
Right.
You're probably the only one they got that does, aren't you?
No, there's a few there
Is there?
that have degrees, but yeah. They will hire a lab tech.
Hey, shout out to all the Canadians. I've been seeing a lot of Canadians in town lately because of the mine. Yeah, there's a couple dudes have been hanging out down at the Dust that are Canadian. I saw a guy that I would assume probably worked for the mine at one point. That he's got a play. They're spending like a couple months a year down here, and he was like, "Oh, they're fellow Canadians. Come on in, Canadians. We welcome you.
Yes.
Leave your socialist dystopia. It's fine.
And bring your maple syrup with you.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
We have
And not your liberal politics. But I don't think that's.
we have maple syrup here. Vermont, maybe.
Yeah,
Definitely
Vermont.
up that way. Definitely up that way.
But it's Canadian maple syrup.
It's different.
They know the border. They
It's
don't
different
cross
up
it.
there.
Those leaves grow with great health care.
But the rewind was awesome, dude.
Oh,
I missed that.
Dude,
It was
Lincoln's
really
costume
good.
I saw
was
it.
incredible.
So cool. So
God,
so
man.
They are. I mean, kudos to them, man.
They're a good band.
They are an entertainment in the right
They're
environment.
entertaining. They're entertaining.
Very.
In the right environment, especially an environment like that, they are very entertaining.
Yeah.
And not that they're not in any other environment, but a party is the
Yeah.
place for them to be at. You know.
100%.
They are a party band.
They're all great guys too.
I just love watching Andrew play piano. That guy.
He's a monster,
He
dude.
is
In
a
his socks,
monster.
doing the full splits and stuff.
Yeah. Ryder
He's
came
awesome.
down specifically to watch him, and he stayed
I get
almost the end. He stayed up until the very last
Yeah.
set that they
Yeah.
did, and he was like, "I don't want to." He's like, "That guy's really good," you know. He's playing or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, "I've never seen anybody play like that before." He's like, "It's not synthesizer, which is kind of his thing." But he's like, "I gotta respect that. That's
Yeah.
he's awesome." And I'm like, yeah.
Even the Jackie came out for an hour.
That's awesome.
yeah,
We snuck her out of the
good
house.
to see Jackie.
I was so killed.
I get it.
Man, when I get home, when I go to that lab, I am on my feet from the time I get there until the time I leave. I do not stop. We go just as hard as we can for 12 hours. And it's working in the plant was a lot less busy.
Right.
But I don't have near the potential.
Not as much manual labor, probably.
Exactly.
But you're on
Yeah.
your feet the
But I'm on my
entire
feet
day.
the entire day.
Yeah.
Start doing shots of hydrofluoric acid to stay awake.
Well, I'm dead. So, hey, I got to leave work early, though.
I'll be honest with you, though. Working in a lab sounds right. But like, oh, yeah, let's went to the lab today. That sounds pretty
The
sweet.
lab.
I wish I
That
could say
sound
that.
cool.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. You don't. Everyone thinks that doing chemistry, you're like making stuff explode, and really, what you're trying to do is keep stuff from exploding.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. If you have stuff exploding, you're doing things very wrong.
Right.
It all depends on your perspective.
Well, that's true. What's the outcome that you seek, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So are we gonna do a stream for the election on Tuesday?
We need to. We got any predictions? Do we want to do it? Do we want to
If we
do
do-
a prediction?
I don't know what my work schedule is. I may have to set it out because they're going to start rotating me on nights.
Okay.
But Noah will be here, so if we
Okay.
do, y'all can just go ahead and
I
do it.
suggest we do one. I think we should figure out who we call to get us to give us the numbers.
You can look it up. I think it updates pretty regularly online, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah.
Usually on the North Carolina elections
Yeah.
page or whatever on thing, you can find out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
But polls close at 7, so maybe we ought to try to go live at like maybe 6:30 or something.
that's what I was thinking. Start seeing where it's trending.
Yeah.
What's the last? I'd love to know this stuff. This is stupid, but I wonder what the last precinct is of the county to report.
Oh, I don't know.
Do the other parts
Are
of the
they all
county other than
simultaneous?
Bakersville vote? Because this is just a municipal election, I think. I thought there were some other races on the
I looked
ballot.
at. I just looked that up.
Yeah, let's look at what's on the ballot because I'm still
Yeah.
not 100% sure what all is on there. But is it a primary for the
I have no
lieutenant
idea.
governor or anything like
I
that?
have no idea.
I literally just looked this stuff up recently. North Carolina Board of Elections. All right. Let's get this out of the way.
I think that
I got it by county here. I think it's all municipal.
I think it is too.
Okay.
It's all 2023 municipal elections. It's all municipal. So that would just be Deaton and Spruce Pine Fire Department, or is it
And
all
Bakersville.
in Bakersville?
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a race at all going on in Bakersville?
Yeah, I saw them listed.
We've been focused so much on Spruce Pine that we've completely forgotten about Bakersville.
Sorry, Bakersville.
Forget
Yeah, I
that
know.
we have other towns
I'm
in
sorry.
this county.
And they're probably like, no, please, don't. Please.
Don't bring the
For
nonsense
God's
over
sake,
here.
don't bring it over here.
Stop.
Yeah, please.
They're over there like a meme, just
Yes,
hanging
like-
out.
Or it is hanging low. Like,
Yeah,
everybody just
Bakersville
stay
is
out of
just
the-
like not moving. Like Hollercast's vision's based on movement. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't move, they won't see us.
Now we should have an entire episode specifically based on Bakersville and
Yeah.
nothing else.
Let's make everyone over there mad.
Why do we make everyone so angry?
We don't. Everyone's already angry.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess in the political space, everybody is angry for anything for no reason.
Yes, they are. That's the name of the game, Noah.
It is.
I would get behind politics if it wasn't so just awful.
You know, Dakota
God,
says
we
the
should
same
have this
thing.
earlier.
He says the same thing.
Isn't Dakota old enough to vote?
He is. So he's like, I just try to stay out, especially the national stuff. He's like, he's like, this is just. He's
Awful.
like, I don't even bother to even look at it. He said, it just makes me anxious, which I don't blame him. It does me too.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I wouldn't say I encourage people to vote, but, you know, it is what it is.
Well, everybody needs to vote if you're informed and you feel like you can have a, informed voice. I feel like,
don't go vote for someone just because they're hot.
Yeah.
You would be shocked.
I can honestly say that I'm not going to be voting for anybody because they're hot in the Spruce Pine municipal election
not
this
either.
year.
I'm not either. I'm not even voting in the municipal election because I don't live in town. So
That's a thing. You vote for people because they're attractive.
some people.
Yes.
You ever heard of Lauren
Lauren
Boebert.
Boebert.
No, I'm not.
She's getting her boobies fondled in a movie theater. Everybody was hating on that for. I'm like,
Nice.
have you never been to a? Well, it was actually a Broadway performance, I think. Her and her new boyfriend were getting a little handsy in the seats.
Handsy. Well, good for them.
Yep.
Good for them.
I mean,
You know, God forbid they be human.
No. No. We can't have that.
Not that I am a giant Lauren Boebert fan or anything, but
Or a public displays of affection fan.
Right.
But
still, it's like, come on, guys. You know,
yeah.
cut people a little bit of slack. You know,
Pee Wee Herman took it a little far.
May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But you know, people leave out of that. The part of the story people leave out of that is that he was in a porn theater.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't like he was
Right.
out.
He wasn't just in the,
Like out the street or whatever, like
just in a regular.
wasn't
or outside of some like kid's window or
He
something.
wasn't watching The Lion King.
No,
Right,
exactly.
Right.
That's
I mean, what do you
exactly-
think goes on in there?
That makes more sense with the context. I was like, really?
Doesn't it, though?
In like a pub? I was like, really?
I think it was something where I guess they walked in. The police did like a spot check or something to make sure nobody's actually got their dong out or whatever. And sure enough, go figure, in a porn theater. Not that I'm endorsing going to
Those
porn
exist?
theaters, but
And your character's name's Pee Wee,
They-
right? I mean, it's Paul Rubens. His name's Pee Wee, and
I don't even think from the article I read, I don't even think the cops tried to make like a big deal about it. They just like gave him like, it was just like a ticket. It wasn't like he got arrested or anything like that.
Right.
He just got cited or whatnot for public indecency or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got out that it was Pee Wee Herman, and then the whole world melted down, you know. But again, not that it's great, but
yeah, we got 2 council seats open for Mitchell for Spruce Pine Town Council, and then of course we got the mayor of Spruce Pine, and then the mayor of Bakersville.
Who's running for mayor in Bakersville?
Well,
Chuck Vines, unopposed.
actually, no, it's just the Bakersville Town Council. There's not a mayor listed for Bakersville.
I didn't even know there was a town council in Bakersville. Who's running?
I'm trying to get that right now. Right now, I've got the list of the positions open. I'm trying to see who it was in the newspaper this week.
I wanted to go back to what one of you said about how people whether within politics or on the internet, are very. Like, I'm a dramatic person. At least I can be at times, but I feel like on the political space, it's a whole other level. Like it puts me to shame.
You think? Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that politics is Hollywood for ugly people.
They're not wrong. I wouldn't exactly disagree with that sentiment.
Yep.
I don't really go out of my way to be dramatic, but I guess that's kind of.
You're really not. You're not.
My curse.
You used to be, but you're not so much anymore. Now you're the opposite. You try to be so deadpan. You're just like, yeah, whatever's cool.
Well, people change over time.
I'd be more apathetic if I wasn't so lethargic.
I was saying people change over time.
I love you. No, I'm just aggravating you.
My point's
At least you're not one of them like bruh guys or whatever.
Bruh.
No, I'm not one
This
of
has no whiz.
I'm a little bit above that caliber, I would say.
He doesn't smoke weed, so he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Oh, bro.
No, I'm not a stoner either.
You seen that guy on the internet that does that? That I'm sorry, but I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Bro, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Oh God, bro.
That's how the freshmen at Mitchell High School talk.
Yep. That's it.
That's
That's
interesting.
teenagers for you.
I hate to,
Did you find anything, Jimmy?
No, I'm struggling with the Mitchell News Journal website that doesn't remember my password that I use literally every day to read it.
But I always remember something when, talking about freshmen. I was there at one point.
Yeah.
I was.
You were?
I wouldn't say I wasn't really like them. I was more of the angry, I hate everybody type.
Yeah. Yeah. We had those.
Mm-hmm. We did.
It's funny how it really hasn't changed a whole lot.
I know.
I was just...
The social groups that I see, like the kids like dealing in, are very similar to what we dealt in.
Very much so.
I was just so angry at the world.
Yep.
Everything sucked.
I was too, like my freshman year into sophomore year, and then I don't know.
And that anger finally manifested when I got suspended for 3 days.
Uh-huh.
Finally, it reached
Overthinking
its
everything. Did you start overthinking everything?
peak. Well, I do that anyway.
Yeah.
Anger or not, I do that anyway.
Ryder's, he's going through one of them phases where it's like, dude, you were trying to be 30 and you are 15.
Right. Just
You were on
chill.
step 1 of 5,000.
Right.
Or 2 of 5,000. You got to just chill, man.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Speaking of him, I will tell you a few things after this podcast that I have observed from him.
Okay.
Him being, we say good morning, we,
Dab it up.
dab
Yeah.
at each other, move on with our day. But I've observed a few things I'll let you know about.
All right.
Don't
Sounds
be a
good.
narc.
What? I'm not throwing him under the bus.
Okay. All right.
It's good things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is off topic. 2 of my snakes have died.
Really?
I knew one of the great mamas died. Which
Both
other?
of them. Both mamas are dead. Unfortunately.
You think it was because they were wild caught?
Yeah, they're imports. Imports are hard to keep alive.
Damn, that sucks.
They looked rough too. They were not in good shape. I couldn't get them to eat. I couldn't get them to do anything. I soaked them. I tried. I did everything I could to keep them alive. Yeah, I was not happy. I just hate that something died under my care.
Right.
But yeah, both my mamas are dead.
So what happened to the lizard? The lizard just,
Committed Sudoku.
yeah,
I was cleaning.
it unalived itself.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
cleaning her enclosure, and I was holding her, which I shouldn't have done. I should have put her somewhere else. But I was holding her because she was being all cute and just hanging out in my hand.
Right.
And she just leapt off of my hand onto the floor, and when she hit the floor, I was like, oh, that's bad. And she never acted right after that. She was, it obviously just like ruptured everything in her stomach when she hit
Right.
the floor. And come back in there a couple hours later, and she was dead.
Damn.
Yep. That made me sad.
Yeah.
She was a sweet little thing.
She was. Now you got Butters.
Yeah, no, I got Butters. I had Margarine. Now I have Butters.
Well, there you go.
What's next? Vaseline?
No, probably
No.
Unsalted.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
There you go.
Yeah, olive oil.
There you
I got to stay with the
What's next? Vegemite?
Vegemite. What?
Vegemite Sunday, Men at Work, Australian sandwich reference.
Give me a Vegemite sandwich.
Yep.
Did you do that?
Speaking
You guys ever had Vegemite?
No.
Oh.
It's actually not that bad.
Really?
If you put it with butter and maybe just a dash of salt, it's pretty good. It's not bad.
I will trust
I
you.
know that it's like beer yeast or whatever, but it's
No,
really
I've
not
never
that
had
bad,
it.
and it's probably not that good for you either. But
I'm sure it's not.
yeah, I remember. I'll never forget working. This is okay. I have to rant a little bit.
Go for it.
We worked for a very short period of time. My wife at the time, she worked there long term, but I quit and went to something else. But it was like a child care facility. It was after school in particular.
Okay.
For younger kids, like elementary school type
Was
age
this
kids.
here or in Australia?
In Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They would give them like, this was the 2 sandwiches they would give them for snack, either like butter, sugar on white bread, or Nutella with butter on white bread. And then them kids would literally be going, they would get there, eat them sandwiches, and go berserk.
Yeah.
And
They're eating
and then,
sugar sandwiches.
And then they would all of a sudden get mad at each other, start fighting, and then half of them would fall asleep. And I never remember the workers were like, I wonder why. I can't understand why that's all they do. I'm like, you're giving them a damn chocolate sandwich. What do you expect to happen? It's chocolate and butter.
Oh my God.
They're dying on a sugar rush, dude, and then fighting each other and falling asleep. This is classic sugar rush. And I'm like, are you guys really this dense that you can't figure this out? I remember never forget being like, seriously, you're giving them chocolate sandwiches.
Yeah.
I can at least give them peanut butter.
Right.
To where it ain't so, it's loaded with sugar,
Well,
you know?
the protein will slow down that sugar absorption
Right,
too. I mean, but yeah, you're giving them carbs on carbs on carbs on carbs.
Yeah. And they're just literally going, and then fighting and then sleeping. That's what they do. It's like, oh, well, you can't figure out why they won't behave. You're
You're
like,
preparing them for Australian adult.
right, exactly. Exactly.
So while I didn't find the election stuff, what I did find was that the Halloween was in the Kingsport Times newspaper.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
go.
I just happened to see that. That popped up there when I was doing I don't know why it
Wow.
popped up. And what's the Erie News now? What is Erie News? I'm not familiar with that.
Erie News? Probably like a scary.
I have no idea.
Well, one would think, but it's
Unless
about
it's
a
Erie,
Bakersville
Pennsylvania.
woman ambushed about her 45 dogs.
Okay, so that
So this is another big thing.
That may be like Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering because I thought it was interesting.
But that did make national news, I think.
I think it did.
Ambushed about her 45 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So she.
I mean, let's just be honest. It's 45 damn
It
dogs.
is Erie,
I mean,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that was big news. And here's the thing, though. That poor woman, she knew that she was overwhelmed. She knew that she had to surrender them. She was just upset about the way that it was handled. She claimed, and I don't know, I wasn't there, but she claimed that she was threatened with arrest, that she was, treated inappropriately, treated as a criminal by our law enforcement. I don't know. I wasn't there. She had no problems surrendering the animals. That's what the hubbub was.
But I mean, my God, 45 dogs. And I understand she was trying to do the right thing,
She was.
I guess, but like, I mean, come on.
Talk about those
These,
crazy
I don't know. I can't even talk about this kind of. Dog people and me don't
Yeah,
see the world the same way. I'm sorry. I'm a cat person.
I am too. I get it. I mean, they're all animals. I mean, I have pretty much a snake sanctuary, so I can't.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm a bird guy, so I really can't talk either.
you don't have any birds, though, so you
I'm
can
going
talk.
to get one.
I don't know. If you're going to run a 501c, if you're going to run a nonprofit, an animal sanctuary, and you get overwhelmed, then you need to start reaching out for help.
Those are addictive, by the way. Completely. I'm telling you. When you,
You're right, though. You're right.
You've got to reach out for help.
Making me hungry just by.
And maybe that's what she did. I don't know. I don't know the whole story.
no, you can
I'm
get in
just-
on this, man. Feel free.
I'm just talking. No, you want some?
Sure.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Oh, anytime, man.
You know, and I mean, I understand. I mean, if you feel like you were treated inappropriately, then that's your right to say that you think they handled it inappropriately. I mean, I don't know. I would have to know more information.
Right.
Judgment call on how things were handled or whatnot, but it seems like it was kind of an operation. I know that the building inspector here in Mitchell County also is part of emergency management, and he was out pretty much a whole day doing that.
Yeah.
So, it sounded like it definitely was a thing. Mm-hmm. And, and I hate that any of those animals had to be euthanized. I heard that there was
I
like
don't
8
know.
of them or something
Really?
that did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows the story behind that either.
Right.
They may have been unwell,
Right.
I don't know. I have a hard time commenting on things like this because I'm not a bleeding heart for dogs like a lot of people are.
I'm not a bleeding heart for animals, period. I mean, I love animals, but
But animal people are very hardcore about animal
they
topics.
are, for sure. 100%.
Especially those types where it's like, oh my God, we can't let one, dog. And I don't know. My first reaction is like eye roll or whatever.
Right,
but I know beyond that, that's just me wanting to dismiss it and be like, this is crazy because
I love snakes. I love venomous snakes, but I know people kill them every day. I mean, and people will be like, oh man, I killed this snake. I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, don't apologize to me. I get it. I get it. I would have done the same thing 5 years ago.
I was guilty of that. Remember when I
Well,
sent you that
yeah,
picture
I
of that
mean,
copperhead
yeah.
that one chopped its head off?
Right. But
I made sure to clarify. I was like, it was in the hole.
No,
when he
I mean,
jumped
I
down
get
in
it.
the hole, he
Right.
had to kill it.
I get it.
Right.
I wouldn't have done it, but I understand that's how people
Right.
deal with a lot of venomous snakes. They kill
Right.
them.
So
It is what it is.
finally found it. Bakersville, George Allen Blevins and Charles Frederick Nash are running for council in that Bakersville. So there's one seat available. So those two are vying for that seat.
So it's Charlie Nash and who else?
George Blevins.
George Blevins.
George Blevins.
Yeah.
Who's that? Do I know that person?
I don't know, but I feel like I should.
The name's familiar. I guarantee we
I know
do.
I
Charlie.
definitely know Charlie.
Yeah,
but-
everybody knows Charlie.
Well, I'm sure they feel left out, but also at the same time, like, God, please don't talk
Yeah,
about
right.
Oh, God, please.
And then Spruce Pine, of course, it's Philip Heiss and Lynn Holler for the mayor. They're vying for the mayor. And then we got Rocky Buchanan, Kimberly Hagman, Sharon McIntosh, and Wayne Pate. That's the four. Then those four folks are vying for 2 positions on the council.
And am I correct that you have to live within city limits to vote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought so.
And you have to also be a resident to run for a position.
That has been called into question on at least one of the candidates.
Yeah.
I was going to ask my dad a quick question.
Yes.
Since we're talking about snakes, kind of.
Uh-huh.
Inform us, what do we do if we encounter a venomous snake? Like we just happen to stumble upon it.
Leave it alone.
Throw it at an elected official.
Yeah, you could
Make
do
them
that.
do a dance.
You could do that.
You ever watch them videos with them
Oh, yeah.
preachers are dancing with snakes and they get bit?
I went to one when I was young. There were still some nearby. I won't name names, but there were some nearby. I went one time, and I was like, no, thank you.
Wow.
Down in Marion, there was one. My Aunt Wilma was at Autumn Care, which is a really awesome, or was back then. I don't know about it now, but it was a really awesome, like assisted living facility, like end of life care deal. And there was one down there by that was straight up like they're always like the remnant, the last remnant Baptist church or whatever.
I think
It's
they're
like,
Pentecostals.
yeah, it's Pentecostals.
It's
It's like
Pentecostal,
hardcore Pentecostals. Yeah.
That take up serpents, and no serpent shall hurt
Right.
you. And no, they will
Drink
hurt
strychnine.
you. Yeah.
Did
no
you ever
poison shall hurt you or harm you, and no serpent shall harm you. Yeah, no, they will. Both of those things will harm you. I don't care what any text says. Both of those things.
Yeah,
are
they
going
definitely will harm you.
They will.
Tangentially related, and I've got the photo somewhere. When I was in college, I hung out in Kingsport, Tennessee a lot. There was a church called the Southern Confederate Church of God, and the pastor was Robert E. Lee. No joke. No joke. And I've got a photo somewhere of that church because it was one of those full stop. Like I'm in
like,
Tennessee. I always wanted to go to church there, and I never did because I wanted to see, are they in like Civil War costumes or something? Like what
Civil War reenactment every Sunday.
Exactly.
No, that's just what they wear.
No, it was a reenactment. No one told them.
That's just what they wear.
Third generation Robert E. Lee. So those like, are you really? Is your name really Robert E. Lee, or is this really good marketing for a church?
Probably both, knowing
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Speaking of good marketing, have you seen the new Kiss commercial where they
Yeah.
help parents throw
Yep.
good parties?
Yeah, the birthday parties. Yeah, that's great.
Dude, 71 years old, is still the best marketed rock band in the history of the world.
Yep.
Kiss
Yeah.
will always be popular.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
care what anybody says.
They will.
They're not that great.
I don't
No.
like them.
I don't
I
like
do
them
not
either.
like
The
them at all.
most popular amateur hour at the Apollo band in
Yeah.
the world. I mean,
Yeah, nobody has ever been like, man, I'll tell you want to listen to some really great, well-written music, listen to Kiss.
Listen to musicianship. No.
and the people who say, God, Peter Criss is a great drummer, you're like,
Not really.
No one wants to be Peter Criss, Lois. Not even Peter Criss wants to be Peter Criss.
exactly. Oh, my God.
No, Kiss is not.
Well, even their songs, like when I was young, because of their look, you think like they're a heavy band.
Right.
And like the first song I remember hearing by Kiss was Beth.
Mm-hmm.
And the second song I remember hearing by Kiss was Shouted Out Loud.
Yeah.
Which is the easiest song to play of all time.
Literally, you
All
can,
their music is.
you can play every instrument of that song at the same time and sing it.
The heaviest song they have, I think, would be like Detroit Rock City, maybe.
Probably.
probably.
Until you get to their 90s stuff when they went the alt route. And they actually had, Unholy had some heavier
When they became
tunes.
unmasked.
When they ditched the makeup.
Yeah.
My favorite era for Kiss, though, and I know Kiss fans would lose it, but their disco record, man, I Was Made for Loving You is an awesome tune.
I was
Yeah.
made
My favorite trend with like rock music is I go to Slipknot's Instagram sometime, and their first comment on almost every post is, "Do you do birthday parties?"
the just the duality pun intended, with Slipknot, of Slipknot is they have an Instagram page.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just like the just.
So are we doing the heavy metal for the
we are.
Toe Jam?
We are.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
but it's supposed to be open to all types of music, but no, we are doing heavy metal. I'm still working on the dates because I don't know if I'm gonna do Memorial Day or Labor Day. It just really depends on the bands that I'm targeting, and it's going to be a mix. The plan is traditional Toe Jam, local bands outside Riverside Park during the day, but inside, and Dr. Boyd, and I've still got to talk to him. He doesn't know this happening yet, but inside the former Pine Bridge 3 Peaks building will be the ticketed event of the night.
Right.
That way allows me to solve both things. I'm hoping the ticketed event can help fund the whole thing. In the daytime, free like Toe Jam's always been, so everybody can participate.
Right.
So, and it ain't gonna be no Ticketmaster $200 front seats.
No.
They're gonna be $1,000. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's going to be of value, though. I will say that, but I'm excited about it. And I didn't have the time for the past couple of years, just life and whatnot, but I just miss it. I really enjoy putting on a party.
Yeah, I do
love
too.
to do that. Just love to do that.
Well, anyway, we can help.
So-
Let us know, brother.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. There's going to be one act that's going to be kind of the headliner for the free event. They're a semi-local band, but they're going to be neat, and we've referenced them in this conversation tonight. And I'm just going to leave it right there.
I know where you're going with this.
But
Awesome.
it's going to be next level for the event.
Nice.
So I'm
Sweet.
excited.
Awesome.
But hopefully I will have, my goal is by the end of the year to have everything lined up and booked, and that way it'll give me plenty of time to do some proper marketing for the event this year. So,
Awesome.
but
Boy, I'm telling
be
you,
fun.
Spruce Mine's been hitting it out of the park on festivals this year.
Yeah.
Kudos to
Yep. They
God,
have.
it's like
I know
every
everybody
weekend.
says it's so fucking terrible or whatever, but
There's nothing to do here.
There's nothing to do here.
Well, and I'm trying to target, and everybody knows I hate bluegrass, like with just an unbridled passion.
Oh, dude, me too.
Almost as much as the new Beatles song that came out today.
What is up with that?
Don't get me started.
Okay.
But I sent everybody.
There's a new Beatles
Yes.
song came out?
Yes, the last.
Who the
last
hell
Beatles
wrote
song. The Beatles. It was the last thing that they recorded, but they had to restructure it with. I don't know if there's AI involved or whatever, but
There is.
of course. But I'm not a Beatles fan either, and everybody knows that too. But I keep sending my friends they send me, look how much this is streamed today, and then I send them anything by Taylor Swift, literally ever, literally ever. So I was like, hey, it's not relevant anymore. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tune to get some younger folks involved. There's not going to be, for the ticket event, there's no chairs being carried in. It is a rock concert.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a sit back in your chairs and that I understand that element for some festivals, but this is going to be targeted for younger demographics for sure. That is the goal.
Yep.
I think it's what it needs to be.
Yeah, we got to mix it up. It can't be all. Those other events are great, and the people who love that music, I understand. But there's not going to be bluegrass. There's not going to be beach music. There's not going to be sock hops. None of that at all.
Yeah.
And there's a line in the sand about that.
It works here, Jimmy. We did it way back in the day.
I know, cheapskates.
You know
dude.
it works.
Believe me, I do. I know that there's an audience, and the biggest things I've heard. Obviously, I'd put a poll out there. Heavy metal was the number one thing. Modern country was number 2. Classic rock was 3. So, and that's pretty much what I've always tried to do. I always try to get bands to push. In the last Toe Jam, the one of the later acts was a heavy, all original band out of Myrtle Beach with a female lead singer. And I just wanted to try something. I was going to throw a heavy band out here and see what happens. And they were mostly originals. And the feedback that out of everybody that played, the feedback that I got that was like screaming, you got to have more of this, was for that band.
Yeah.
So it got a reaction, like people like, please bring more like this. The classic rock stuff, people like, that's cool, great, whatever. But I mean, these people were passionately like,
Right.
can we have more of this?
Well, and to be quite honest with you, if you want to have classic rock, I can show you where to go get that on
Any day of the
given
week.
Thursday, Friday, or Saturday within a 20-minute
That's
drive
right.
here, if not downtown.
That's right. No, for real. And
I mean-
doesn't mean we don't love it, but I just don't want to alienate other folks. And I threw out their rap because most folks know I'm a big rap fan too. So, but there's not the interest here yet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I may not have that on the side stage in between, because the goal is to have the main stage going and then have a side stage that is acoustic. So when the set changes are happening, there's still music going. So it's continuous. So the side stage will be acoustic, and I might have just some
That Landon
rap.
Wordswell.
No,
that comes
Landon's awesome.
to the yes. You bought.
Yeah, I got the
he was
T-shirt.
great,
man.
dude. I mean,
that's
I'm
exactly
telling
what I was
you,
thinking.
he's
So I thought
really
about
great.
getting him to come up and maybe do them on the side stage, because it's just a turntable and them and a mic. There's not the setup required for like a full band.
And there's a hip hop guy out of Marion that's actually really good too. I don't remember. I've got him on Instagram, I think. Really good, really positive, like message guy. Like
That's what I'm
really
looking
good.
for.
Yeah, really cool.
So that's the plan. I do have 2 country bands that are already. I got a few slots left, but I've already got bands booked for that are. I won't say local like Mitchell County, but the regional and all.
You get Ryan Perry.
I don't yet, but I'm trying to get in touch with him.
I've got
Give me the contact information.
Dakota that plays guitar for him. His lead guitar player is one of my good friends. So
Well, get me connected.
I will.
That would be great.
I'll send you.
Because the last 2 acts of the outside event, I want to be kind of like the headliners.
Yeah.
And one country, one rock.
Yeah.
And I've got
Ryan
the rock
Perry.
one.
Ryan Perry played before the Oliver Anthony concert in Black
How'd that
Mountain
go, by
Movement.
the way?
It was great, dude.
I heard it was packed.
it was unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. But Ryan Perry was great. I mean, honestly, it was really good, and it was a good eclectic mix of. He does like a mix of like originals, like a little bit of modern country. And then like a lot of your classic country sing along, awesome. And he is unbelievable singer. And Dakota's great on the guitar. And see, there's no drums for that event.
Yeah,
it was
right.
just because it was all around.
Exactly.
It was just acoustic sets, and so it was just him and Dakota playing, and they did a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. it
Well,
was
if
cool.
you think of like that, if you think how Toe Jam is going to go as the evening progresses, the music's going to get heavier and or more energetic might be the better term. When it gets inside, it's definitely going to be redneck rockin' heavy metal. So, which the acts I'm working on are quite appropriate for the area.
Right.
I
Nice.
would say quite appropriate. So, as soon as things are inked, believe me, everyone will know.
I'll get you in touch with Ryan.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that, because I do need need 2 more country acts actually to fill up the bill. But let's go start at noon and go to about midnight is the
Sweet.
plan. 12
Awesome.
hours of constant music. So there'll be an hour downtime between the inside event and the outside, just for things to clear out and people to transition so they can do both.
Right.
Everybody needs to get a little dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get you a little food in you.
Get you some din.
That's right.
Yep.
We about ready to wrap this thing up, boys?
Yeah. Speaking of din,
Yeah,
wrap
it's
this
about
up.
that time, ain't it? Hey, listen, I wanted to say something about the election. I would encourage everybody to get out and vote. Especially if you're informed and you care about what's going on in Spruce Pine. You've got 4 days to take a look. We put out a candidates forum for. We were asked to come and do a candidates forum for Philip, Rocky, and Wayne, which is online. That's our last live stream that's on there. And I would encourage you to look at the other 3 candidates as well. I mean, I don't want to exclude anybody. But just know that if you care about the future of our town, it's important that you get out and vote and be informed in that vote. And I think you have to consider that Spruce Pine can fall victim to things. It can, and it will if you don't take control of your community. I guess what I'm asking people to do is to make sure that we are all involved. If you want something out of this community, you have to be involved. And I think when we all step to the plate and we all get involved and we all throw our ideas out there and be respectful with one another and agree to disagree on some things, but we can do that civilly, that's when government works the best.
Yep.
It's about us. Yep. And we have a choice on Tuesday, and people need to exercise their right to choose.
Yep.
And don't
That's my stump speech.
and don't hate each other on the outcome if
No.
it's not what you choose.
Oh, absolutely.
After this election, I will tell you right now, and I will tell everybody out there, I don't care what I've said in the past. I don't care what opinions I hold. I hope whoever is elected, I hope they do a great job.
Well, sure.
And I hope they make decisions that are in the best interest of Spruce Pine
Right.
and not somebody else. But I will support them. They have my support until they don't have my support.
Yeah.
But that's a promise to you, and I don't care who it is, because I want this town to succeed.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Sure.
Sustainable would be good.
Yeah.
Sustainably succeed. Yeah. So we doing 6:30 on Tuesday, the End of the World podcast.
Works for me.
The End of Spruce Pine podcast.
All right. All right.
End of Spruce Pine watch.
Well, if I'm not here, like I said, Noah will.
Yeah, you can come back and hop in at some point.
Well,
What time do you get off?
It depends. I may be on nights then. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay, I got you.
I don't know. But either way, Noah will be here. And if I am on
Live
days.
from Hollercast Studios, the 2023 election.
We got to get one of those boards, dude.
Yeah.
We got to get one of those boards. Like now, if you look over
Hey, we
here-
could put the website up on there
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. we
and just
can.
show the election results
Like
and
that
just
Steve
refresh it.
Kornacki guy from MSNBC that's made it big doing that. Yeah. It's like,
Get
now,
all
if you
over
look right here and like zoom in, it's like if you look down, Ledger. Now we're coming in at 12% of the vote.
The hot seat is English Woods this year.
Right.
But we're seeing a grand showing from the Harris Heights.
That'll be awesome.
It will be
You want
awesome.
to do End of the World coverage, Noah?
I mean, sure.
Nice.
We'll make it entertaining. We'll wear party hats.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do need to come up with that's a
we
good
do.
idea.
We
That's
need,
a
we
great
need a
idea.
theme. We need a theme. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll come up with something.
Josh, take us away, brother.
All righty. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us and chilling on this nice, chill Thursday. I don't think we got too heavy in the topics. I really enjoy just sitting and talking and about whatever.
nice,
It
isn't it?
is. It is. It's good. It's good. But please check out our merch, shophollercast.com. We still have merch for sale. And any support we get is greatly appreciated. Tune in next week for the live coverage of the election. And yeah, just do better, Spruce Pine. Do better to laugh at other people
And draw better dongs.
and draw better dogs.
All right.
Until
Take us-
next time, we love you all. Peace out.